This story begins 2 months after the night everything broke. 2 months after Thanksgiving. 2 months after I walked out of the house I grew up in. The house that taught me silence long before it taught me language. 2 months after I realized what I was running from was not a moment, but a lifetime. I didn't plan on returning. I didn't want the walls to remember me, or the memories to recognize my footsteps. But my father had asked, quietly, carefully, the way he always spoke when he was afraid I might disappear again. "Kat, if you have time, come home, just once, for me." There wasn't guilt in his voice, only fear. Fear of losing me permanently. Fear of being too late to repair damage he had spent decades pretending didn't exist. So I went back, not for the house, not for my mother, not even for answers, but for closure. The house looked exactly the same. White shutters, trimmed hedges, a porch that felt more like a boundary than a welcome. If houses could smile, this one smiled too tightly. Too perfectly. Like my mother. The moment I stepped inside, I smelled lemon polish and lavender candles. A scent that used to feel like home but now felt like a cover-up. As if the house was trying to hide the years buried inside it. My father greeted me at the door. His smile was fragile. Like a cracked plate someone glued back together. "Thanks for coming," he said softly. I nodded. "Where's Mom?" He hesitated. "In the garden. She didn't know you were coming." I understood immediately. He had told me to come. He had not told her. He didn't want her to prepare. Or hide. Or orchestrate another performance. I went upstairs alone. Every step felt like walking deeper into a memory I didn't want to revisit. My childhood bedroom looked frozen in time, as if the past had been sealed inside it. The bookshelf was untouched. The curtains still pale blue. My old desk still neatly arranged. Too neat, too intentional. My mother's habit. Make everything perfect, even the parts broken underneath. I walked to the closet, reached for an old storage box, and as I pulled it forward, something metallic clattered onto the floor. A small sewing kit, rusty, forgotten, something from my mother's younger days. It shouldn't have mattered. But inside it, beneath tangled threads and bent needles, was a folded letter with my mother's handwriting on the front. 4 words. For when she asks. I never asked, because in this house, questions were considered flaws, and flaws were not allowed. My hands shook as I opened it, and suddenly, the story I thought I knew about my mother began to unravel. And always the woman who measured love in perfection. She was once a girl named Miriam Crestwood, a quiet child in a strict house, where affection was earned like wages, and mistakes were treated like sins. Her father, my grandfather, was a man of numbers. Rigid. Exact. A man who valued order more than warmth, results more than feelings. Her mother, my grandmother, was soft but frightened, always smoothing her apron like she was wiping away invisible mistakes. My mother grew up in a world where love had to be proven, performed, displayed. She danced in competitions because her father liked trophies on the shelf. She studied endlessly because report cards were the only acceptable language in their home. She learned to smile through pain, to shine through exhaustion, to erase any part of herself that didn't fit the mold. She didn't grow up with tenderness. She grew up with expectations. She didn't learn comfort. She learned compliance. She didn't receive unconditional love. She learned love that had rules. So she carried that forward. Not intentionally, but inevitably. People cannot give what they never received. And in the letter she wrote, I wanted to love gently. I didn't know how. When I read that line, my throat tightened. All the years I thought she didn't love me. Maybe she simply didn't know how. When Lily was born, she wasn't just a baby. She was a spotlight. Always smiling, always performing, always winning hearts effortlessly. My mother saw her and thought, this one won't struggle like I did. This one will shine. This one will be admired. And unknowingly, she poured her entire broken childhood into Lily. She gave her praise she never received, attention she never got, opportunities she never had. To everyone else, Lily was the golden child. But to my mother, Lily was redemption. When I was born 2 years later, nothing changed outwardly. But internally, the roles had already been set. Lily was the star. I was the space around it. When Lily danced, my mother clapped. When Lily sang, she recorded it. When Lily won trophies, my mother displayed them proudly. When I built intricate Lego structures, she said, "Oh, nice," and moved on. When I wrote poems, she skimmed them and handed them back. When I asked for help with homework, she said she was too tired. It wasn't cruelty. It was hierarchy. A hierarchy she didn't realize she was repeating. I learned early that love was something I would always have to share, but never truly receive. And the worst part? Lily didn't ask for any of it. She just accepted the role she was given. We both inherited different wounds from the same mother, just shaped differently.
She brightened for a moment, but then Lily walked in wearing a new dress, and the moment evaporated. I remember bringing home a science fair ribbon. She took a picture later, because the lighting wasn't good enough. I remember getting accepted into the college I dreamed of. My acceptance letter sat on the kitchen counter, underneath a flyer for Lily's cheer team. I remember birthdays where candles burned unevenly, because my mother was too busy scheduling Lily's activities. I remember dinners where Lily talked for 90% of the time, and I filled the remaining 10% with nods. I remember trying to speak and realizing I wasn't heard. And worst of all, I remember convincing myself I didn't need to be. When love is uneven long enough, you start believing that your small share is enough, that being overlooked is normal, that attention is a privilege, not a right. But silence leaves marks, invisible ones, the kind that stay for